outpost, but as we've seen in this World Club Championship, reputations count for very little. And this is the scene in the Sheffield Eagles dressing room. The coach, John Keir, has been on the pitch here, just finalising arrangements for this battle against the Perth Reds. Sheffield have not been in action for the past 2 weeks, and they have not won at home for 2 months. The time is right. The Perth Reds dressing room. They led 18-0 against Castleford last week. Then they had to hang on for a 24-16 victory, and they face another tricky game on paper here. Let's take a look at the Sheffield Eagles team. Linton Stott is their fullback. Nick Pinkney, Willie Morganson, Fetu Taiwa and Jean-Marc Garcia, Wayne Flynn and Mark Aston. Up front, it's Paul Broadbent, Jason Erber, Steve Edmed, Danny McAllister and Paul Carr. Martin Wood is the loose forward. And on the bench, Keith Senior, Johnny Lawless and Marcus Vasilakopoulos and Ricky Wright are 2 men on loan from Leeds. The coach, John Keir. The Perth Reds have Greg Fleming at fullback, Chris Ryan, Paul Bell's their captain, Tim Horan and Matthew Daylight. It's Scott Wilson and Matthew Rodwell. And in the forwards, Robbie Kearns, Matthew Fuller and Brett Green, Peter Shields, John Grieve, who had a spell at Widnes, and Dale Fritz, the loose forward. And on the bench for them, Chris Deaver, Wayne Evans, Corin Ridding and Damien Chapman. The coach is Dean Lance, who is a former Canberra forward. So the Perth Reds just waiting for the knock to come to the door, and then they will enter the Don Valley Stadium. It has been raining here, by the way, in Sheffield for the past half hour, so conditions early will be just a little bit tricky for these players. But Perth, mid-table in the Aussie Super League, 6 out of 10, a 50% success rate, 6 wins, 6 defeats from their 12 matches so far. Here come Perth. To be fair, little to choose between these two sides, certainly in terms of their attacking quality. 6 matches won for Perth, as I say, 6 defeats. Now, Castleford did breach their defence 3 times last week, but the Perth Reds have picked up 3 wins from the last 5, and they do have a better defence than Sheffield Eagles. Look out for Robbie Kearns, the man in number 8. He's their top tackler, average per game 24. Sheffield Eagles, last moments, eager to get into the action, the Sheffield Eagles. John Keir, their coach, tells me that they will do their best to give the European Super League a lift. Certainly after results earlier today and previously this weekend, the time is right for the Eagles to fly here at Don Valley. And right behind the St. George's Cross, out comes the Sheffield Eagles side. They're still going through the mental preparation, and John Keir, their coach, has included so many Australians in this side, and he's playing a psychological game with the Perth Reds. Men like Morganson and Erber and Edmund and Carr and McAllister. He has told them to go out and prove to their fellow countrymen that they are not rejects, that they are true Super League superstars, and to give Sheffield and the European game the perfect boost. Let's hope the psychology works. Into this match with a poor run though. They've not won here since April the 6th, and just 2 wins in their last 5. Nick Pinkney could well exploit any space out wide, but they are conceding far too many tries, 62 and 334 points. Top tacklers, it's the double act of Broadbent, the Englishman, and McAllister, the Aussie. Match referee is John Connolly. He's the man in charge in the middle, and the video ref tonight is a very familiar name to rugby league fans in this country, indeed all around the world. John Holsworth. He's the man keeping his eye on the screen should John Connolly hand the decision on to him. So it's going to be the Perth Reds to kick off. That's their fullback Greg Fleming. He's got the ball. And the referee, John Connolly, just wants a little bit of sand for Fleming to get this game underway. Looks as though maybe none is forthcoming just at the moment. But Fleming, 4 tries in his first 2 games of 1997. He does prefer the full-back role, but he now can play anywhere in the 3-quarter line. Well, it's not the sand, but it is one of the little plastic tees that are becoming more and more familiar in the Super League scene of 1997. So we're just about ready then. It's the Eagles against the Perth Reds here at the Don Valley Stadium. As ever, the surface here in absolutely magnificent condition. Fleming kicks us off, and this game is underway. And the big question is, can Sheffield Eagles do what only Wigan have done previously in this competition and give the European zone a real boost to its confidence?
Well, the Eagles will be buoyed by the fact that Castleford did put 3 tries through this Perth Reds defence, so the gaps obviously are there. They've just got to find them, but not with mistakes like that. It was a good defensive tackle.
Steve Edmed dropping the ball. It's pretty slippy out there, but it was a great tackle by Robbie Kearns. And as we have seen so often in this competition over the past 2 weeks, mistakes like that from Steve Edmed can be punished by these Australians. This now is Paul Bell, the Perth Reds captain. Good defence, but he gets the ball away to Dale Fritz. Fritz taking on Edmed, and in as well very quickly was Jason Erber. Perth Reds with Scott Wilson. He hands the ball out wide to Tim Horan, and then he helps it further on. But that's good defence again from Wood. It was Chris Ryan who felt the full weight of that particular tackle.
Good solid defence though by the Eagles. They're moving up quickly.
Good play from Perth. Good defence. Matthew Daylight is brought to ground. He plays the ball on the 10-metre line. That now is Rodwell who hoists the high kick out wide. Remember, this ball is so slippy. It's dropped. And what's more, McAllister was stood in front of the football as it bounced down, so he is offside. That's a penalty to Perth.
Well, they went high for it. I think Pinckney got a fingertips to it, and you can see quite clearly that the man in front, Danny McAllister, was well and truly offside. Good decision there by the referee, John Connolly. It was a beautiful kick as well. And there's little doubt that Nick Pinckney did get the fingertips to it.
So another opportunity here. That's John Grieve starting the Perth Reds again. The ball goes out wide to the tall blonde figure of Chris Ryan. That's good defence. Martin Wood was in there quickly. Mark Aston as well. And that's good defence so early in the tackle count.
Try to catch him on the blind side. But you can see that Wood, the loose forward, who's settling well to the Sheffield Eagles. A lot of people said that he'd find it difficult coming from the First Division into Super League, but he's acquitted himself very well in the Eagles' colours.
And here's someone else who has acquitted himself well. That's Nick Pinckney. The Eagles trying to muscle it up the middle with Paul Carr. And here now is Edmed. And I wonder about this ploy by John Keir, Steve-O, telling all these Australians to go out and prove a point or two to the Perth Reds, and then having the likes of Keith Senior and Johnny Lawless to come on after, say, 20-25 minutes when the opposition's been softened up, and to make the impact that he desires. How about that?
Well, it's not a bad idea by the new coach, John Keir. Took over from Phil Larder several weeks ago. The mere fact that they need to have encouragement, the mere fact that they're professionals should be sufficient, but as you mentioned, there's nothing better than to see the Australians clash against each other. The Australian clubs down under and a lot of the Australian fans always feel that they're second-raters that come and play in our game. Well, this is the chance to prove that they're not.
Well, it's about time that somebody did prove a point, and that's swarming defence again from the Eagles. Good stuff from them. Wayne Flynn was in there leading the charge. This is Bell again. Dean Lance, the Perth Western Reds coach, had quite a reputation as a Canberra forward, and he took over, of course, from Peter Mulholland in Perth. Mulholland, who came here to Europe to take on Paris Saint-Germain, and of course Mulholland now finds himself without a club. Things not going terribly well across the channel. But this now is Linton Stott.
Good take by the fullback, Linton Stott there. A little bit too long was the kick. No chance for the Perth Reds to chase that.
Exciting player on the ball now, Nick Pinkney. That's good, strong tackling though on Pinkney. And they're holding him down. Pinkney was struggling to get to his feet. Referee's patience holds. This is Fetu Taiwa, former New Zealand Test winger. And now Morganson breaks the tackle and he's got support, but the ball was put down by Jason Herbert.
Oh, the hooker was away there and he's mad with himself, he knows it. Good play by Morganson, and the hooker doing the right thing in support down the middle. You could just see he took his eyes off the football, he was looking at the defender, but a great break there. We mentioned before the start of the game that the Perth Reds allowed Castleford to get 3 tries. So there is breaks out there to be had.
That's a lovely break from Scott Wilson. He gets the ball away to Bell, his captain, and Bell is going to scoot in for the first try. Well, it could have easily been a try. Now, did he ground that as he slid over the line? I think John Connolly wisely is handing this on to John Holsworth to have a look at in the video. Was the ball grounded in the field of play, or did he aquaplane over the dead ball line?
Well, it's hard to see from here, but I think he did. That will be no try. Well, what a mistake by the skipper, Paul Bell. That is no try for mine. It was beautiful play by the standoff Scott Wilson, but much to the surprise of the Perth Reds skipper, he'll be disappointed with that. He should have got it down earlier. And the ball is not grounded before the left leg goes over the whitewash. Not much in it, but you can see there it is, and just a few seconds before the ball is planted.
Well, it's all up to John Holsworth to make the decision, and he's a man who will watch every angle. Paul Bell is watching on the big screen, and no try is the decision. Well, that's an escape for Sheffield Eagles. They could so easily have been up the other end and scoring a try themselves. Then they were cut by Paul Bell in defence, and just the surface has denied them the try. He didn't get the ball down quick enough, and that's a mistake. Well, that's an elementary error from Edmed.
Deary me, the mistakes coming fast and furious.
I don't know what it is about our European Super League team, Steve-O. Get against the Aussies, and they come up with silly mistakes like that.
Well, nerves are playing the big part. He's an experienced prop forward, Steve Edmed. It's the second mistake he's made in this game, and only 6 minutes into the game.
Fritz picks himself up. Bell, the captain at dummy half, scampers away. Good tackling by Paul Carr. Paul Broadbent coming in as well. That wasn't the most tidy play of the ball. This now is with Rodwell.
Well, Bell made a real meal of that. I think he was injured actually, and he's receiving a little bit of treatment in back play.
The ball did clear the ruck eventually, so that's why the referee said play on. They have a man on the overlap out here, but it's with Fritz, and he's all wrapped up by the Sheffield defence. That's the last tackle. They've only made 20 metres. It's Fuller who's the dummy half. He floats it into the arms of Rodwell, and Rodwell with a big kick out wide. The ball is tapped back though by a Sheffield Eagles player. It finds touch.
That'll be a knock on, and no more pressure for the Eagles to absorb. Pinkney did get a fingertip to that, so that'll be the knock on. It'll be head and feet for the Perth Reds. Well, I don't think Pinkney wanted to do that deliberately. He was put under a lot of pressure by Chris Ryan.
Perth then in possession. This is great pressure for them. Fritz picks himself up. Full of the dummy half, Rodwell, and then it comes here to Scott Wilson. Wilson then finds Tim Horan. That's good defence. Great defence from Taiwa. And Jean-Marc Garcia was in there quickly too. Now Kearns, the prop forward. Fuller again at dummy half, the hooker, and they put the ball down straight into the arms of Paul Carr. And Carr now drops it. Well, dearie me, but well, that's a penalty. There was a two-man tackle, and the ball was stolen from Carr.
John Grieve couldn't hold the football. Scott Wilson, keep an eye out for him, the standoff. He's a talented player, been around a while. Played with North Sydney in Australia, and he's the man that gets everything going for this Western Perth Reds side.
Broadbent now. Broadbent, who is the Great Britain and England international, making his 300th career game here tonight. Edmed takes it up again for Sheffield. A couple of early mistakes, but Edmed will not shirk the work, but Paul Carr now drops the ball.
Well, Dropsy going through both sides. Disappointment etched on the face of the second rower, Paul Carr. They want to do so well to the Sheffield Eagles. Their coach John Keir said they were up for this, but I'm afraid the nerves are playing a big part in their downfall.
Steve-O, I must say, over the past 2 weeks, I've not seen so many elementary errors from Super League teams in this country, purely and simply because they're up against these Aussies. I'm sure of it.
Well, I think mainly today is the fact that it's very slippery out there. And a bit of a downpour. And then a deluge just before the kickoff. Seems to have cleared up for the while.
Here's Robbie Kearns again. Gets the ball away. Handling errors. They've made 5, Sheffield, already. The game's only 9 minutes old. This now is Brett Green, ever present so far for the Perth Western Reds. That was Rodwell, and he helps it on. It comes wide again to Bell. And there was Matthew Daylight looking for the ball out wide. It's with Wilson now. Wilson back to nobody in particular. Kearns picks up the pieces. He is Darren Fritz, closed down and clattered. Broadbent, Carr, and also Linton Stott chasing.
Good scrambling defence, though. The Eagles are pretty solid at the moment.
It's enormous.
Good ball.
Enormous pressure. Fleming gets the pass out wide, and again it goes out wide, and that is a try for Chris Ryan. Chris Ryan got the ball down that time, no problem. 4 goals against Castleford last Sunday. It was his best effort for Perth. The former Manly player, 3 years there, and Ryan opens the score.
Right along the back line. It was clever stuff, but great work there by the big second rower. It was John Grieve that kept it alive. And Tim Horan fed the winger Ryan, who was far too strong. You see the big second rower, he'll turn in the tackle, kept it alive. Good stuff by the fullback Greg Fleming to carry it on, and then the pass from Horan to Ryan out wide. Nothing that Pinckney could do about that. The defence looked solid, but the big second rower, he sucks in 3, and once they got it away, there was always going to be problems. Once that ball was released, the fullback Greg Fleming runs the angle, sucks in the loose forward Martin Wood. Good play though by Tim Horan, and what a great finish by the winger Chris Ryan.
Ryan, the try scorer, Ryan also the goal kicker. And Chris Ryan now with the opportunity to turn his 4 into 6. Low trajectory, but very accurate. 6-0, Perth lead.
3 defenders get sucked in. Once they got the ball away out wide from the fullback Greg Fleming, they were always struggling with the Sheffield Eagles. That's a nice finish by Chris Ryan.
And that was his best effort with the boot in 1997 for Perth Reds. The 4 that he got against Castleford last week. And the kickoff will not have pleased anybody, but maybe John Keir, the Sheffield Eagles coach, will be happy that it sailed out on the full. Penalty to Sheffield on halfway.
I must say that John Keir, the Sheffield Eagles coach, must perhaps be thinking that he's quite happy with only being 6 points down, with making so many mistakes early in this match. And a huge mistake by the Perth Red skipper Paul Bell when he slid over the dead-in goal line.
Aston tackled by Matthew Fuller. He now is Broadbent.
That's an area where I think the Eagles can take control of this game. Big runs from the prop forwards, Edmund and Broadbent leading the way. That's what they need.
Aston into the arms of Wood, and Wood with a little kick over the top looking for Pinckney to flyer. Pinckney, if he'd have taken that, he'd have got it. But he dropped it again, and he knows that the opportunity has gone begging.
Set move, it was a beautiful kick by Martin Wood. Tremendous vision by the loose forward, kicks into the corner, and Nick Pinckney, he's normally got very safe hands. Well, what a chance to be wasted there.
So close, Nick Pinckney, to a glorious try. Non-playing substitute for England in the 1995 World Cup final, by the way, against Australia, Nick Pinkney. Certainly one of the most exciting young players around. Well, I say young, he's 26, but one of the most exciting players around in Super League on his day, Nick Pinkney. Brought to the club, of course, by Phil Larder, who is the man replaced by John Keir here at Don Valley. That's Peter Shields, and he's a little groggy as he gets to his feet to play this ball.
Took a knock on the knee there. Pretty solid tackle, and there's been some good tackling by the Eagles. And you see Shields, the big second rower, trying to run it off. That's a nice kick.
Great kick from Rodwell. He was under pressure from Aston too, who clattered him after the ball had gone. But a good kick right down the other end of the field. 50 easy metres here.
Put under a lot of pressure as well. It was a fine kick by little halfback. It was combination with Scott Wilson was so important to this Perth Reds side. Dean Land's confident that that halfback combination will be the key element to come away with a win today.
It's Aston who feeds the scrum, and Pinkney picking up the first pass, taking the tackle from Fleming. Good defence again from Perth. So quick, these Australians, to move up and cut any opportunities down. This is Danny McAllister, little half break from him. Good tackle though by Brett Green. And they're certainly running with plenty of enthusiasm, the Eagles, but just getting bogged down a little bit at vital moments. That was Erber, the dummy half. It still is Erber.
Nice run there from the dummy half position, but this is one of the few occasions that Sheffield have actually got to finish their set of 6. It's a good kick too.
Great kick, and it bounces kindly for Garcia, and Garcia tips the ball inside to Fleming, and another chance goes.
Well, Garcia did the right thing perhaps because he knew that, or he thought that he had support. It came back. It was good work by Taiwa, and then he turns it back inside, and Greg Fleming, the Perth Reds full back, saves the day. Well, chances coming the Eagles' way.
And certainly from the high kick, Steve, well, that's 2, and they've not looked terribly safe and secure against the high bombs from Aston.
Well, a few of these big hits, you could see that the big prop forward Paul Broadbent there really put the shoulder in.
Scott Wilson, ball round the corner, but no way at all that John Grieve could take that particular pass in.
Well, he's got the dropsy, and you could see the skills there of the standoff Scott Wilson. Evident with a neat little flick pass with the left hand. Just took his eyes off the football there, did John Grieve.
Knock on again.
Dearie me.
Paul Carr holds his head in his hands. I wish he'd hold the football.
Well, I don't know whether it's the actual surface of this football that's creating problems, but it's like a bar of soap at the moment for both sides. And it's the forwards that are having the difficulty with it.
Well, double his handling errors in average for a match already from Paul Carr. 16.5 minutes gone, that's all. And 8 handling errors from Sheffield. That's 1 every 2 minutes. That's far too many against any opposition, and certainly opposition from the other side of the world.
And that's why I say that John Keir, the Eagles coach, will be quite happy that he's only 6 points adrift.
At least they're having a go though, Steve-O. And this is Matthew Fuller again, the hooker.
Trouble is they're being called upon to do too many tackles there, the Eagles. Because they're not going through the set of 6. Oh, that was awful tackling.
Awful from Garcia. Bell just steps inside Stott, and that's the second try. He makes no mistake this time. Bell just went round Garcia, the French international, as though he wasn't there. And then he had the step to get away from Linton Stott as well.
Well, the big centre, Paul Bell, the skipper of the Reds, would have been rather surprised that he just bumped Garcia out of the way. It was a nothing attempt. Well, that really is poor defence. I'm sorry you can't see anything constructive about this effort. Did not put the body weight behind it. And Bell certainly making no mistake this time. As soon as he got over the whitewash, he plonked the ball down. Good dummy runner though, but you've got to point the finger at the French international, Jean-Marc Garcia. It was a woeful attempt.
Well, Paul Bell, he's the captain, and he's been ever present so far. He joined in 1997 from Wests. And it's going to be Chris Ryan who will attempt to improve this one. 1 from 1. And that's the angle that he has. Just over 20 metres from the posts. And again, another low kick, but just couldn't drag that one over the bar. 10-0 though, Perth are ahead.
See the dummy runner and the big centre, Paul Bell, come behind him, out wide. See how it just make the defence hesitate. But not the best positioning, not the best attempt from Jean-Marc Garcia.
That will not have pleased John Keir, the Sheffield coach. The defence down this left-hand side for the Eagles just melted away. Now Martin Wood. It's worth remembering that Perth, they joined the Australian competition in 1995. They finished 16th in 96, 11th in 95. And now they find themselves part and parcel of the Super League.
Well, midway through this first half now, it's important that the Eagles get back into the swing of things. Going through the full complement of 6 tackles will help. That's the first real chance that we've seen Mark Aston put the attacking kick into the corner.
Good kick too. Mark Aston needs 2 tries for 50 with Sheffield Eagles. I wonder if he will figure in your voting tonight for the man of the match. 0891 66 55 25. And the prize for 2 of you, 2 tickets to the first test, November the 1st at Wembley. Great Britain against the Australians. We'll tell you when to ring during the course of the second half as normal. Well, there's a penalty here for Sheffield.
Scott Wilson, the standoff, went in a little bit late to the kicker, Mark Aston.
So a chance here as Edmed drives the ball in on the first tackle. 20 minutes gone. Erber is the dummy half, and this now is McAllister.
Pretty
just
high
collared and it
tackle
was
there.
high. Penalty under the posts.
Matthew Fuller, the hooker, scragging round the top of the shoulder. And McAllister would have felt that. Well, this surely is a gift 2 points. Seen quite a few high tackles from the Australians and the New Zealand Auckland side over the past few days.
7 tackles, but the 7th was illegal. And that's why Mark Aston has this opportunity then to get Sheffield Eagles on the scoreboard. Shouldn't really miss this. 47 goals this season for Aston. No problem. That's 48 goals this season. Importantly for the Eagles, 2 points here against the Perth Reds, who lead still by 10 points to 2.
Well, the Eagles will have the kick-off now, being the scoring side. Dean Lance looks on quite pensively, realises that it really should have been a stronger lead. A big mistake with Paul Bell in the opening minutes when he slid over the dead in goal line. So there's still a chance there for the Eagles.
Apparently Dean Lance has sent the message out that as far as he is concerned, that second try that they scored, it was much better play from his team. So he's encouraged by that. But referee blows the whistle, and
bit of a high shot on the big second rower John Grieve.
I think trying to also strip the ball in the tackle in a 2-man effort. Well, it was.
McAllister coming through and knocking the ball out with more than 1 man in attendance at the tackle. So yet another mistake by the Eagles.
More pressure on their defence then. Rodwell, Bell, elusive runner, Paul Bell. Fritz was the dummy half. Rodwell again, Wilson. Rodwell takes over once more. Good defence from Martin Wood. Here's Rodwell, they're looking busy now. The Perth Reds keeping the ball alive, and again, Kearns. He slips the pass to Grieve. And John Grieve was sniffing an opportunity then. Wilson, if they come this way, they're in. Wilson with the try. No defence. And Scott Wilson shaped to pass out wide and just lifted the ball over the head of the would-be tackler and plonked it over the line. So easy.
Well, he started the first charge of the standoff, Scott Wilson, and it's a very simple dummy there, and you can see how the defence just melted away. That was not good play. Wayne Flynn, the standoff, and you could see he was standing alongside the fullback Linton Stott. It was a simple exercise. Simple dummy. But I'm afraid the standoff Wayne Flynn was caught in no man's land.
Scott Wilson with the try then. A try in each of his last 2 matches against Auckland and Castleford. 2 now then in the World Club Championship. The poor old Eagle looks a little forlorn, doesn't he? Trying to rally the crowd. Trying to get them going. If they get going, maybe the Eagles out on the park will. Chris Ryan then. Big screen here at Don Valley in the background. Not a problem for Chris Ryan. 16 points to 2. Perth Reds are ahead.
There you see it, Flynn and Stott, they went a-dancing, and Wilson waltzed in for a very simple try. We mentioned it before, he is a talent, this kid. Creative genius at times.
Well, he had a little spell with Salford, 1994-95. He's been around a bit, Scott Wilson, Souths, Norths, the Bulldogs and the Gold Coast before ending up at Perth. Wood. Grounded 20 metres from his own line. Edmed now will drive the ball upfield again and drops it once more, but I think it was stolen, and the referee agrees. It was stolen in the 3-man tackle.
Daylight it was.
Matthew Daylight. Ashton's penalty, finds touch, 45 metres from the line. Herbert restarts, and Broadbent was greeted by a 2-man wall then. Now Edmed again. 25.5 minutes gone. Perth ahead. And again, the Sheffield Eagles dropped the ball. Dearie me.
Feta Taiwa there. It was a beautiful ball out wide by Mark Aston, who is trying his best to try to get the Eagles moving. But the mistake rate again, so high. They've only themselves to blame.
26 minutes. It was a mistake every 2 minutes earlier. 8 in the first 16. I don't think that ratio has lost anything. The referee will pull them back for the knock-on.
And you saw the skills there again of the standoff Scott Wilson. They've got to get involved there. It was a good hit though by Paul Broadbent. Brought the ball loose the first instant, but they've got to close this man down. He's starting to get more and more involved in the game.
This is Linton Stott, the full-back, but he's dragged back and dumped to the turf. This Sheffield Eagles side really a little inconsistent this year, to say the least. Just 3 wins in their first 10 matches, and that was the reason why Phil Larder, 5 months into his job, parted company to be replaced by John Keir. Now this is Wood. That's great play in the end. Tremendous run from Morganson. He held on to that one somehow. Here's Aston. They're on a roll now with Carr, but no one in support. He couldn't get the pass away anyway. 10 metres short of the line. Edmed the dummy half. Aston trying to jink his way through. He loses it now.
Well, at least he tried to force a pass, but there was no one in attendance. No one came to help. He was trying to look for someone to get through there. Well, great work by the loose forward, Martin Wood. He went on the blind side, sent Willie Morganson away.
Penalty offside against Sheffield Eagles.
Morganson did very well to take that, to say that quite a few of them have dropped the simplest of passes. Well, they're giving away yet another silly penalty, and they were all offside. They had 4 to select there to the referee, John Connolly.
Good driving run from Kearns. Good tackle though from Morganson. .28 minutes gone. 16-2, the lead for Perth. More pressure here on this Eagles defence. Wilson back on the inside to Fleming, the full-back. Beautiful play. Rodwell. He touched it down before he went over the dead ball line. Another try. They certainly know where to attack and when to attack, these Perth Reds, and they come pouring down this right-hand touchline.
Another piece of silky skill by the standoff, Scott Wilson. Watch him throw the dummy back inside of the fullback, Greg Fleming. And once he drew the fullback, Linton Stott, it was an open run for Rodwell. Well, we mentioned the combination between the two halfbacks, Rodwell and Wilson. And the combined effort with the fullback, Greg Fleming, puts Rodwell in for a great try. It was well worked there. Rodwell gets it out of Wilson. Wilson will throw the dummy out wide, back on the inside, the fullback. That's a tremendous effort. Good teamwork. That is a fine try.
Certainly is. Matthew Rodwell, who got a try against Castleford last Sunday. Ryan with his 4th conversion attempt. Well, Steve, I must say, every time that Sheffield Eagles turn the ball over to Perth Reds, it seems to me, I might be totally mistaken, as the extra 2 is added to the scoreline. I might be totally mistaken, but every time they turn the ball over, they seem to come up at the other end and score, Perth.
Well, it's a bad mistake. You can see how the 3 defenders are coming out wide. The sliding defence there on the angle, and you see the full-back come back on the inside. You've got to fill those gaps. Just a slight suspicion it may have been a bit forward, that final pass. But according to the referee, John Connolly, that was A-OK. But let's not take anything away from the skills of the two halves, Rodwell and Wilson. They're enjoying themselves at the moment.
Yes, they're being given the freedom of Don Valley. Flynn and Erber go off, and Senior and Lawless come on as per the battle plan of John Keir, bringing them on after about half an hour, but the intention, I think, was that they wouldn't be coming into a situation like this. Perth have made a change too, and Corin Ridding has come on for Robbie Kearns. Well, John Keir hoped that Lawless, who's on the ball then, who passed it to Edmed, and also Senior, the Great Britain international, would come on and they would make an impact on this game. Well, they've got something to impact upon now with a 20-point deficit after half an hour. Aston.
Well, there'll be a little bit more purpose with Johnny Lawless out there, especially in the dummy half position. That's a fine kick and a good chase.
That's much better. But Ryan did well to get back into the field of play. Here's Fleming again. Lawless is on him.
Bit of an awkward bounce there. Well spotted though by Chris Ryan. He was in a good position, but that was a better kick and chase. And
penalty. No, they didn't play the ball
right.
properly.
Well, all these sides from down under have been informed about the correct way, and the fullback got caught on that occasion. Just rolls it back, didn't get the contact with the boot. Well, I'm not so sure that I would go for the 2 points here. Surely not. I know it's a gift in front, but at 22 points to 2, the one thing that they really need is to lift their spirits, is to get over for a try.
I agree with you, but let's remember, points difference at the end of the day, vital. There's a long way to go yet in the match.
Well,
I agree with you, they maybe should be running it, but they've got a simple 2. They've accepted the gift.
Well, to me, that's as though they're admitting defeat already, and they're not even in at half-time. Well, that has baffled me. Surely a try is what they should have been going for.
Yeah, you've got a point, but they've got 2 more. 32.5 minutes gone then. Aston restarts. Underneath the kick-off, Fleming tips it back inside to Fritz, number 43, Ridding, just on.
Well, you were speaking about the psychological approach by John Keir, the Eagles coach, before the game. But that will work against them, because surely the Reds... Oh, dearie me.
Lovely step from Shields. It was a beautiful ball, by the way, from Wilson, and this now is Horan.
Well, he's having the time of his life out there, Scott Wilson.
So are the Perth Reds. Here they come. They're charging down here again. Fritz Bell, man standing out wide, and here he is. It's daylight. Linton stopped managing to get to him, but 10 metres short of the line. The fullback's out of the defensive line now. This is Rodwell. Carr in there quickly, Broadbent and Lawless again. Last tackle, look, they've made 92 metres. And Wilson hoists the high kick. Garcia's underneath this, and Garcia takes it. Everyone breathes a sigh of relief. Did well then, and is back to the opposition. Took it very cleanly there offside. Never made any attempt to come back to 10. Let's get on with it, say the Eagles. And you can see that the first tackler that went low never made any attempt to come back, but what a good take there by the Frenchman, Garcia. We criticised him for a pretty weak tackle midway through this first half, but got to give him credit there. Heath Senior on the halfway line, plays it to Lawless, he gives it to Edmed. Must say the Australian defences are getting right, as they say these days, into the face of the European Super League teams. That has certainly been the feature of the games that we've seen from start to date. Aston now, and Broadbent. Nowhere for Broadbent to go. Good, watchful defence again by the Aussies. Lawless now will scamper away. More of that, that's what's needed. Last tackle though, Aston. Steps inside, Fuller. Wood, good soccer skills from Wood, he hacks it forward. Pinkney touches down. Was Pinkney offside or was Pinkney onside? Referee is going to go to the screen. My immediate feeling was that Pinkney was standing in front of the final kick from Wood, but we will see. Well, good thinking here. It was a loose ball instead of picking the ball up and then kicking it. And that's fine for mine. It's close. The contact with the boot is there. Oh, I'd say it was just onside, but it's pretty close. All we're looking at, by the way, or all John Holsworth, the video ref, is looking at, is whether Pinkney was onside. Well, I think that's where the contact is, and Pinkney is definitely level. Maybe a little bit of European bias on my part. Yes, get those Union Jack specs off. Let's see what the decision is. Try's given. Well, there'll be no arguments from us two for that. There'll be maybe plenty of arguments from Perth Reds. But John Holsworth took a long, hard look at whether Pinkney was offside, and he was convinced from the moment he touched the ball down that he'd scored the try legally. Well, they missed the opportunity, and it was Wood again that put the kick in, but Aston kept it alive. But quick thinking by the loose forward, Martin Wood, whose soccer style gets it through in the first case, and a well-weighted kick on the second. Calm, cool and collected there by the winger Nick Pinkney. Well, that's just what the doctor ordered. They really needed that, did the Eagles. And they need these 2 points. It's a difficult kick though from Aston, and he misses it. But at least they're back in the hunt. 8 points to 22. Sheffield Eagles have hit back, courtesy of Nick Pinkney. Well, tremendous skills here. Nutmegged Rodwell, didn't he? Beautiful soccer skills. And then he just laid back, pushes it through. Oh, Paul Ince couldn't have done any better than that. That was superb. And the winger, Pinkney, he kept cool and calm. Well, a little more of that from the Sheffield Eagles wouldn't go amiss before half-time. It certainly lifted their spirits, it must have done. Well, if they can get another quick try now, it may just put a little bit of doubt in the Perth Reds' minds. They lost the ball. The Eagles have got it back with Wood, who tried to give it to referee John Connolly. Did well there, did Connolly. Squatted down just in time. Either way, it was a one-on-one by Pinkney, even if it did get the fingertips to it. That's play on, didn't knock it forward. This is Paul Carr then, and the Eagles now 20 metres from the line with Senior. Good tackle was needed, and a good tackle came in from Matthew Fuller. And they messed around at the play of the ball. That's another penalty, and he's taken it quickly, but John Connolly will bring him back. That'll be a scrum down, but they'll have their head and feed. Now the referee wants a word with the Perth Reds.
Well, interference at the play of the ball. Got the penalty, but he's allowing them to go again.
Yes, restart with the penalty. Here's Wood, the engineer-in-chief for that try. Aston is trying to marshal the troops. They've had to go back 13 metres. Now they'll come forward. The Broadbent puts it down again. He wasn't happy with the quality of the pass.
Oh, there's nothing wrong with the pass at all.
No, there wasn't.
That was right in the breadbasket. You don't need a shopping trolley out there. You've got to catch it with your hands. What a time to come up with a mistake from the skipper there, Paul Broadbent.
Look at that, 11 handling errors in the first 37 minutes. All right, the ratio's gone down a bit.
Oh, great play by Aston, but he's got him for offside.
He scooted round the back of the scrum, and the referee says he's offside, and Aston, if looks could kill.
Well, that looked out for mine, but he never retired first. Supposed to go back behind his loose forward. Before that, he can move forward till the ball comes out.
So 2.5 minutes to go to half-time. Now, the last thing that Sheffield Eagles want is to concede another try here. But they've had a couple of chances themselves, haven't they? Oh, and this is Wilson again. He hasn't touched the ball for about the last 5 minutes, and Sheffield have enjoyed their best spell of the match. This is Fuller, now Rodwell. Into the arms of Bell. They're pouring down this touchline again. That's a better tackle from Garcia. That will maybe make them think twice next time. Here's Darren Fritz. Dale Fritz, I beg his pardon. And Fuller in at dummy half.
Surely to high one again.
It is from Rodwell, and it's come back this way. Who wants it? Bell's got it. The ball bounces back.
That'll be the turnover. It's on the last. Well, still time. It was anybody's up there. Fullback Greg Fleming went high, as did Paul Bell.
Here's McAllister then again. Gets to the 30-metre line. Lawless dummy half. The Eagles running with a lot more purpose now, but being met by stern resistance. Great tackle there by Peter Shields on Paul Broadbent. Lawless to one of the new men on loan, Ricky Wright from Leeds. Never played first team at Leeds, but he's playing first team here at Sheffield now. And Martin Wood gets the ball away. Lawless, oh, he's tapped it straight into the arms of Tim Horan. 50 seconds to go to half-time. The Perth Reds on the charge again, 10 metres short of the Eagles' line. Wilson, that's a great tackle from Aston. Here's Horan again.
Super play in the second marker position. He read that play so well.
Fleming has joined the line, the full-back. Gets the pass away. This is Grieve. Just held up, good tackling back. Now Rodwell, and he's dropped the ball.
That'll be play on. Well dropped there by Keith Senior. Well, I must say the move by the Eagles coach John Keir of bringing on these fresh substitutes really has lifted the Sheffield side. They needed something.
Garcia with the run. There's the half-time siren. And a half really that the Sheffield Eagles have conspired in many ways to their own downfall. Ryan has kicked so well and scored the first try. And Paul Broadbent, Mark Aston have tried to get the Sheffield Eagles going. They certainly enjoyed their best period of the match from the moment that the changes were made and Lawless and Senior came on, and they came up with a try from Nick Pinkney. But it's the Perth Reds who lead at half-time by 22 points to 8. Remember last week they built a lead and then clung on against Castleford. Can the Eagles fight back? There's another great night of boxing coming up on June the 28th. Holyfield versus Tyson, the return. It's a special pay-per-view event on the Sky box office. For more information, you're asked to call 0990 800 888. That's 0990 800 888. Right now, it's the Sheffield Eagles against the Perth Reds. Britain takes on the world in the World Club Championship. And the Eagles have fought back. They were trailing by 22 points to 2. Now it's 22 points to 8 at half-time. The try from Pinckney and the goals from Aston giving the Eagles hope. But it's 4 tries to 1 at the moment. But at least Sheffield Eagles have shown a bit of spark. They've taken the ball up enthusiastically against the Perth Reds. All right, they've dropped the ball 11 or 12 times, which is no good to anyone. But Steve, I wonder, I mean, is it just me, or are the European teams in this competition showing this lot too much respect?
I don't think it's a matter of that. I think that the Sheffield Eagles, they're becoming their worst enemy. I mean, they've made 12 mistakes in the first half. It took them an eternity to get through their first set of 6 tackles, and you've got to be able to build up. When you're making so many errors like that, it gives confidence to the opposition, and it certainly doesn't give yourself any confidence. And they have only themselves to blame, that they've got to keep dropping the football. You cannot win a game of rugby league football if you don't have the football. You've got to apply the pressure. We keep saying it, get into their face and do something with the football, but if you keep dropping it, it's a waste of time, and I'm sure that John Keir will have plenty to say to them. I know it's Father's Day, but you don't give gifts like that. I don't know how many fathers, they look too young in the Perth side, but it really was a case of just not getting into the swing of things. As you say, maybe the nerves got to it. It is a slippy surface, but the Perth Reds, they've only done 4 mistakes.
Yeah, that really says it all, doesn't it? But there's 1 or 2 little stars out there, aren't there, for them? I mean, Tim Horan's pretty useful, and the 6 and the 7, Rodwell and Scott Wilson. I say 6, the standoff, he's wearing 26. He's a real star.
Well, the 2 half-back combinations, we mentioned very early in that first half what the quality of Scott Wilson is. He's a former North Sydney star. This guy does know what's happening out there. And if you allow him to run around and take control, I'm afraid it's going to create a lot of problems. And in fact, they should have had their first try to their captain, Bell, and it was Wilson yet again that created this opportunity for the big centre to go out wide. Beautiful, beautiful play. They really did. Look at him, Wilson there. Back on the inside. And this kid's an awkward runner. Paul Bell, not many people know much about him, but I think by the end of this competition we will. He really is a talent, only a young skipper, but this was a mistake. We knew it was slippy, but why on earth he didn't get that down? Just lost the plot somewhat there. But when we came on for the Ryan try, beautiful ball out wide. Let's just stop it there. There we'll see the dummy runner comes through, and then you'll have the situation, roll it on again. Watch the dummy runner, and then we'll get 3 players come in, keep it rolling. Once they release the football and got the ball out wide, there was always going to be problems for the Eagles defence. Good work there by Tim Horan, the centre sending in the winger Ryan. Well, I'm afraid the only thing you can say about this is that the Frenchman Garcia's effort to try to stop the skipper Bell. He made no mistake on this occasion. He just went straight to it. Back on the inside, not the best effort from Jean-Marc Garcia. Then the high shot here. Let's just hold it. And you can see how when they get the ball out wide here, look how the defence is coming out. Move it on again, and the inside pass. This is beautiful play. And Wilson just threw the dummy. Tremendous stuff. Then Rodwell, he came in. Again, Scott Wilson. Throw the dummy back on the inside. The fullback, Greg Fleming. Superb backing up there by Matthew Rodwell. And it looked at this point that Sheffield was well and truly going to be out of this game. But good play by Wood. Aston kept this ball alive. It seemed to go nowhere. And the loose forward, rather than just try to pick it up, beautiful little kick through, and at that moment you can see that Pinckney 1.5 inches onside. Okay, 2.5 inches to make Eddie smile a little bit more, but full credit to Martin Wood. He's perhaps has been the best player on the Sheffield Eagles side, and at least he was constructive. And it may be a case, Eddie, of what might have been, because earlier on it was Wood's kick into the corner and there was an opportunity for Pinckney to actually score the try, but he knocked on. You've got to take your chances.
So the message from John Keir now, obviously, in the dressing room at half-time is going to be, for goodness sake, let's hold on to the football.
Well, of course it is. I mean, he'll probably want more than that as well, because there is the opportunity. We mentioned that Castleford put 3 tries against this Perth side, so the breaks and the openings are there. They've just got to keep plugging away, but it's vital now that the Eagles score very early in the piece. They've got to get a quick try and then apply the pressure. And as you say, Eddie, the only way you can apply the pressure is to ensure that you keep hold of the football. If they can do that, they're still in with a chance. It's only a slight one, but you never know in this game.
You don't, and you never know where the man of the match is going to come from, and of course it comes from your votes on the World Club Championship. The viewers' man of the match tonight will be decided during the course of this second half. That's the number to ring. Around about 20 minutes to go. We give you 20 minutes to get your votes in, and if you happen to win our competition, 2 of you could be off to the first test at Wembley on November the 1st between Great Britain and Australia. We have 2 Olympic Gallery tickets for each of you. And if you've never been up in the Olympic Gallery before, believe me, first of all, you need a touch of oxygen, but after that, it is a wonderful, wonderful view of the Wembley Stadium, and certainly on the day of the international, it'll be tremendous. Right, the Sheffield Eagles dressing room you're looking at right now. And John Keir, I'm sure, is telling his players to maybe get some of that stuff that makes things stick on your fingers during the course of the second half. Get some Velcro attached. And let's keep hold of the football, and let's see what Sheffield Eagles can do in the second half. They're trailing at the break, but we have the 40 minutes to come that could shape a bit of history here. Football is back on Sky Sports next month. PSV against Newcastle is one of 2 live games from a special pre-season tournament in Dublin. Right now it's Britain versus the world, part of the great summer of sport here on Sky. Sheffield Eagles against the Perth Reds in the Super League World Club Championship, and here's the situation at half-time. Sheffield 8, Perth Reds 22. Ryan, Bell, Wilson, Rodwell. Goals from Ryan, who's kicked 3. Pinckney and Aston with a couple of goals. Now here's some stats from the first half. And although Perth have enjoyed the better of the possession, there really is nothing much to choose in that particular set of statistics. This is where it now comes, I'm afraid, to the fore. The 9 missed tackles, the 12 handling errors, and the offloads, 17 to the Perth Reds and 8 clean breaks.
That just shows you, Eddie.
Story, doesn't
well,
it?
It does, and in fact that they're not completing the tackles, Sheffield, not just missing them.
Nick Pinckney's a man, though, who can turn a match anytime.
Well, he's got the speed and the skill, and it wouldn't surprise me if John Keir, the Eagles coach, tells Nick Pinckney to come off the wing, bring him into the centre position. That means he'll get a little bit more possession of the football. He's got all the skills available, so you may as well utilise them.
So second half then, and maybe Sheffield Eagles showed just a little bit too much respect for this Perth side in the first half, and maybe the next 40 minutes they can turn it right round. Let's hope so, from a European point of view anyway, if that's not too biased for our friends in the Southern Hemisphere who are watching this with us. 40 minutes to go, 22-8, the Perth Reds are ahead, and I'm sure that John Keir will have told his men to try and take care a bit more of Scott Wilson, because I think if you stop Wilson and maybe Rodwell, you stop this Perth side.
Well, Wilson especially, the standoff, they've got to shut him down, and they've got to apply one man to him. It's no good having 3 and 4 going for him, because he's a wily customer. He's got strong upper body strength, he can offload well. Just one man get to him with a low tackle on every occasion. That should do the trick.
The kick from Rodwell bounces kindly in the end for Garcia. But the chase arrives and he's dropped on the edge of his own red zone is Jean-Marc Garcia.
Pretty solid defence though by Perth, and I'm sure that their coach Dean Lance would have said to them, look, just absorb the first 10-15, because he realises the Eagles will throw everything at them in this opening stanza.
Well, they would love to get back into this match. Lawless just got a fingertip to that and helps it on. And here now is Pickney again. Linton Stott, rather. Linton Stott chiming into the line from fullback. Good run from him. Aston to Wood. And Wood again, the kick over the top. Wilson's after it, and he just is content to run the ball dead. Under pressure there.
Lifted the spirits there. Good run by Lyndon Stott. Put them into the position. The loose forward, Martin Wood. This is the run from the full back. Well, we mentioned that the gaps are there, and you've got to take advantage. It was a neat chip through by Martin Wood. And we spoke about applying the pressure in that first half. And they've got off to a flying start of the Eagles.
Drop out then. Goal line drop out for the Perth Reds, and Broadbent puts the ball down again. Well, I'm getting frustrated about this, and what on earth John Keir will be thinking of it, I don't know.
Well, all that good work by the fullback Linton Stott. The beautiful kick, which applied the pressure from Martin Wood, and that is the result.
Linton Stott just behind Danny McAllister there. There he is, the fullback, full of praise for John Keir because he's playing him in his preferred position these days at fullback, and he needs just one try for 50 for the Sheffield Eagles. There's the Sheffield coach who will be joining us actually on the programme tonight for the final half hour of the programme, so we'll get John Keir's opinion on this match when the final siren sounds. Bill Arthur meanwhile has got news of what he said at half time.
Well, I don't think he'll have been impressed by that Paul Broadbent mistake, because his message was cut out the errors and take control of the game and to complete the sets of 6, and the Eagles can still win this game according to the Sheffield coach, but that Broadbent mistake could prove costly.
It could, because this is Bell again. Garcia managed to hang on to the ankles, last tackle, and they're coming again down that right-hand touchline, but that's good defence. Well done.
Better. That'll be the handover, and it needed to be as well. Well, I must say the Perth skipper Paul Bell is creating a lot of problems for the Eagles centres, Morganson in Taiwa.
Danny McAllister takes it up, and Peter Shields went down then. This is Broadbent. That's a much better run from Paul Broadbent. 3 tackles gone, midway inside their own half. Lawless just couldn't get away. Ridding coming in to finish him off. Morganson. Good stern defence once more from Perth Reds. It's the last tackle. Aston will kick, puts in the high bomb, and Garcia was there all on his own under no pressure. The referee will play the first, which was from the Frenchman.
That'll be the turnover. It was on the last tackle. Well, again, not taking possession. There was no one in front of him. The Frenchman should have taken that.
I understand Bill Arthur's also been earwigging what Dean Lance has said as well.
Yeah, he was fairly happy with his side's first 40, well, for the first half hour anyway, and he wants to see that reproduced in the second. He wants his side to take control of the game, but they have suffered a setback because 37 Pete Shields is just being helped off, and I think Wayne Evans, number 33, will be coming on for Perth Reds, so that is a setback for them early in this second half.
And good stern defence again from Sheffield Eagles, and an unforced error from Perth this time.
Not the best pass out there to the winger Daylight. The big centre Paul Bell trying to get the ball out wide.
I thought with a name like that, by the way, you might be using a couple of play on words tonight, but are you saving those up for us?
He's only touched the ball twice. You see the incident. Holding down, it's just been taken away. It was the... I think it was in the groin. I think it was a stray knee, and that would have been very painful indeed.
Now Lawless for the Eagles. He changes direction.
Well, they've got to get a bit more urgency into their play now, the Eagles.
Here goes McAllister. He unloads the ball well. And that's Morganson. Ryan was the man who did the tackling. Lawless is the dummy half, and he'll scoot away down the blind side, but well watched by Wilson. Morganson in at dummy half again. Aston, senior wanted it and got it short.
Good solid defence there, though.
Last tackle. That's Ricky Wright, and he gives it to Aston. High kick from Aston. Chances here. Ball palmed down. Carr just couldn't get the pass away. It's still on the last, and Broadbent just dropped on the football. I think he thought that he was going to be having 6 more tackles there, Broadbent, because he just retained possession and made no attempt to get rid of it.
Well, they lost the plot there. A little bit of a high attack. And it was definitely touched by number 5, I think, Paul Bell, the skipper on the Perth side. But obviously the referee, John Connolly, thought that he was just accidental. Nice pass.
Forward, though.
Well, he spotted that. John Connolly.
Wayne Evans thought he was away then, and he fed the ball out wide.
50-50 there. Sheffield were lucky.
Tim Horan was down the touchline and thought that another try was beckoning, courtesy of the Evans pass. Aston feeds the scrum. That's Keith Senior. Ball back on the inside. Taiwa, New Zealander. Lawless, Wood, McAllister. Almost a half break, but good defence again. Evans was there, and so too was the hooker, Matthew Fuller. Lawless to Aston. He spreads it wide to Senior, and again the ball goes to ground.
Under a lot of pressure, but Senior should have got this. Once again in the breadbasket. Well, this is the incident that perhaps should have been, well, he deliberately got that. That should have been 6 to go. You can see the number 5, Paul Bell, actually made a move for that. It was missed by the referee.
And that's why Broadbent died with the football, thinking it was 6 to go, and in the end it was just a turnover. Anyway, he didn't pick it up, John Connolly, even though the ball altered the direction by around about 90 degrees. Here's John Grieve. Remember him from his Widnes days. Grieve, 1993-94, 7 appearances. Good tackle by Senior, that.
Looking ominous there, they're allowing Matthew Rodwell to run the show again.
Rodwell under pressure from Aston, gets a great kick in. It's a high hanging kick. Oh, it bounced off the head of McAllister. This is Fritz again, still on the last tackle. Fritz gets it away to Horan, and that was well done by Morganson. He stole the ball one-on-one. Nick Pinkney.
Forward pass right in front of your sticks. You've just picked up the football, you're desperate for possession, and you force the pass when you don't really need it. And you can see Willie Morganson did well to get it out. Pinkney takes it away and then offloads a pass to a man in front, the second rower, Paul Carr.
So the scrum forms 10 metres from the post, 20 metres in from this near side touchline. Rodwell feeds, big opportunity then here for the Perth Reds. Rodwell again looking for Wilson, but the ball went nowhere in particular, and a good job that Bell was alert, but they've lost ground there. Good tackling again, this time by Linton Stott. They're running it across the face of play. He's gone without the ball as Wayne Evans. Lawless has got it back, and that's almost a voluntary tackle.
They'll play the first knock on. A little bit of scrum down, they'll take it back. There was no advantage. Tried to play advantage there, John Connolly, and you can see the substitute Wayne Evans just overran that pass. And as you say, Eddie, that looked very close to a voluntary tackle, but good refereeing by Connolly, allowing the advantage.
Here's Pinkney again. He's wrestled to the ground by Fritz. 10 minutes of this second half gone. Senior, little half break, but they make a half break, and then in come the tacklers. Green was there to cut him down. Carr now.
The thing
Good
is,
tackle by Bell.
the most important factor for the Eagles' point of view is that few of these Perth tacklers are falling off the ball carrier. So they're still in with a chance. It's been a lot better performance, and there's a penalty.
Yes, Lawless interfered with it. He tried to get to his feet and play a quick play of the ball. Fritz wouldn't let it go of him, look.
Loose forward had a second bite of the cherry. Lawless wanted to get on with the football. Well, there's a sign perhaps that Perth are tiring. Remember, Castleford definitely finished the better side, even though they were on the end of a losing streak, but maybe fitness could be a problem for the Perth Reds.
Broadbent will drive it down the middle now, surely, to the edge of the 20-metre line. Lawless goes the other way and finds Aston. Aston then to Senior. Quick hands from Senior. That's Taiwa again. Tackled again by Bell, getting through a big effort defensively. This is Garcia!
Oh, he's lost it.
Tried to get the ball down, he lost it. The referee will bring it back for the knock-on.
Well, to be fair, the Eagles were lucky there. The big centre, Feta Taiwa, didn't play the ball correctly, and you can see that Garcia lunged out to try to get to the whitewash, but all he did was lose the football. Good run, though, by the Frenchman, but there was definitely no contact with the boot from Feta Taiwa.
Has Aston got that ball back? No, Rodwell was the first to react, but Aston certainly risking offside at the scrums.
It's important now the Eagles keep this pressure on.
Steve-O, it might sound disrespectful with the 22 points to 8 scoreline against the Eagles, but Perth are no better in my book than many clubs that we've seen in Super League in Europe this year.
Well, it's the skills, isn't it, of the two halfbacks, Scott Wilson and Matthew Rodwell, and there's a mistake by Brett Green. Got forward. And it's only the confidence factor that they've got to get over now, and I think if the Eagles scored a try pretty soon, they could step up even another cog.
They could. They're looking dangerous. It's a good start to the second half from Sheffield. I think that Brett Green has disappeared to the trainer's dugout. I think he's just been replaced. And so too has Kearns, the other, or rather Kearns has come back on to replace him with Diva. Double change then by Dean Lance, the Perth coach. 53 minutes gone. And as it has been for much of this second half, the Eagles on the attack.
Well, I think Dean Lance, the coach, just wants to shore this defence.
Well, they've got an overlap out wide, the Eagles. But they've lost the ball.
Well, Mark Aston was just trying to pop up a short pass, but...
Bit too elaborate, Steve, wasn't it?
Yeah, I'm afraid there was no one coming through.
Roll away, let him play ball.
Edmed returns. Come back on and prove a point, Steve Edmed. Dean Lance, the Perth coach. Anxious moments for him.
Well, they'll try to grind it out there. They'll have got the message out there. We mentioned just after the restart that Perth would say, just soak up the punishment that the Eagles will throw at you.
Good tackle by McAllister. It was on Diva, just on. This is Grieve. Tackled by Wood and McAllister again. Rodwell, another high kick. Obviously, they want to test them out there. That's the reason why. Knock on is the decision. And whose head and feet is it? Perth Reds.
Well, dearie me. There you see it.
Yes, he's right.
Taiwa got the fingertip to it. If you're not going to take it cleanly on the last tackle. And the ball came up with Garcia, who was in an offside position, but referee John Connolly quite happy just to give Perth the head and feet.
Well, the Sheffield Eagles formed in 1984. Perth formed a couple of years ago, and watching here as they get the tackle in. That was a great tackle by Linton Stott. The ball was released into the arms of Morganson.
Well, that was a high shot as well. Good play, though. They kept the ball alive.
Well, things just not going right for Perth Reds at the moment, and Sheffield must be growing in confidence as this second half progressive. That could easily have been a penalty. Edmed was pushed then as he played the ball. That's McAllister. He's dropped just inside his own half of the field. Aston is the dummy half. Wood, they've injected a little pace now. That's Senior.
Another good tackle from the hooker, Matthew Fuller.
Wood again.
He's been one of the stars on this Perth Reds side. That's a neat little kick as well by Wood, but there's only him there.
Aston's arrived now, and he gets Fleming. Good tackle.
Well, they really should have had more than just Aston and Wood chasing that football.
This is a good run from Daylight, but good defence from Garcia and also Taiwa. Well, this is a much better start to the second half from the Eagles. Much more enthusiasm, and they've got it back. Wood, chances here in broken play. Carr, 6 tackles to go here. Carr hangs on, and they want to get on with it, and the half-back, Rodwell, was holding him down then, but play on. Lawless, Aston. Oh, no one there for Aston. They were all standing round. Lawless, good scampering run from dummy half. Back to Aston. Now it comes this way with Edmed. He gets to within 10 metres of the line.
They're looking tired of Perth in defence.
Lawless dribbling the ball through. Did he get the touchdown? Possibilities here for Morganson.
It'll be pretty close.
He's handed it on to John Holdsworth to have another look on the video ref. Pickney celebrating. He thinks there's a try on here.
I think he's right.
Oh, there's going to be inches in this. Yes, it's a try.
Well, good play by Johnny Lawless. I said that there's a lot more urgency when he was brought from the subs bench, and it was a neat little kick through, and Morganson gets the try that the Eagles so desperately needed.
Good, quick thinking from Willie Morganson. From the North Queensland Cowboys. That's a great try and a great confidence booster for the Eagles.
Good work by the hooker, Lawless. Just chips it back through. You could see your wrong-footed Greg Fleming, and it was only inches in it. This is the moment when he gets a kick through, and this is the moment why we have the video replay. Virtually impossible with the naked eye to make a decision, but the slow motion replay makes it all so sweet for the Eagles.
Well, tremendous that. Just what they needed, Sheffield Eagles, and Aston adds the extras. We've got a match. We've got a match on our hands here. John Keir, he promised me that Sheffield would do their bit for King and Country, and they are doing.
Well, we mentioned the fact that they were big in confidence for this second half restart, but excellent play there by both Lawless and Morganson. Super effort. And as Eddie mentioned, we have a game on our hands. And that last passage of play, there were quite a few of the Perth Reds defenders looking very tired indeed.
Both the Sheffield tries have come via the video referee. And Steve-O, that try really a major indication, if people need convincing anymore, just how important the video ref is in the modern game.
Sure was.
Because that would never have been given 18 months ago, would it?
Maybe not even with your eyes. Not even with the contacts. Well, he's ringing the changes is John Keir.
Yes, another of the players on loan from Leeds. Marcus Vasilakopoulos comes on. Was that a good kick? I think it was. It just scraped into touch the right side of the corner flag.
Super kick there by the halfback, Matthew Rodwell. He knows the importance of getting out of his own half. An enormous kick downfield, 65 metres at the least.
8 points the difference. 58 minutes gone. Sheffield are at least in with a chance. Mind you, we thought we had a win in the bag at Bradford last night, didn't we? And look what happened then. Shh. Wood to the end of the red zone, the 20-metre area.
He really has kept going, hasn't he, Martin Wood? And you mentioned the fact that both tries had to go via the video ref. They also came by 2 kicks as well, so that gives you some indication that that is a ploy to get through these solid Australian defences.
Lawless with another lovely little run, belligerent run to the halfway line, but the Perth Reds have got the penalty for the
use of the elbow,
leading with the elbow, Lawless.
You see it lift up there, right into the throat of Scott Wilson. Well, it hit the chest, I feel.
I think you're right.
Well, I don't think that hit the neck. That looks like the chest actually finishes underneath the chin. Well, a close one to call there by John Connolly. Remember, he doesn't have the slow motion replay.
Well, that's right. Robbie Cairns. Penalties 8-6 to Sheffield. Now then, ball goes out wide. Good play, Daylight, but again, good defence. They've certainly sorted that out during the half-time break. There's no doubt about that so far. This is Grieve again.
One low, one high, stop the pass.
Here's Rodwell. He'll switch it back the other way. Wilson. Neat ball back on the inside to Fleming, the fullback. And Lawless is the man who grabs at him. Last tackle. Now can they keep them out on this last tackle? Lovely dab through. And that ball is forced in his own in goal by Mark Aston. Good defensive effort. He's had a super game, Aston.
Tremendous stuff. Positioned himself well there. Got a knock on the head.
Yes, he got a knock on the head for his bravery. Quarter of this match to go then. 14 points Sheffield, 22 Perth.
That's important now that the Eagles get a deep drop kick from underneath the sticks. Only the one Great Britain cap for Mark Aston, but his experience has proved invaluable, especially in the second half.
For the second week in a row, Perth are hanging on to a winning situation. There's a good kick too from Aston to the halfway line. Shields has returned for Perth. That's Vasilakopoulos in there with McAllister. Oh, he nearly put the ball down then, did Ridding. 2 tackles gone. Rodwell to Wilson. This is the danger man. Here's Shields just back on.
Good solid defence there. Good low tackle by Keith Senior.
Paul Carr was entangled with him. Wilson again, trying to spread the ball out wide. That's the fullback, Fleming. 4 tackles gone. Kearns to Rodwell. Rodwell, little short ball to Evans. All wrapped up is Evans. Takes a tumble in the end.
Great defence by Danny McAllister, the second rower.
Last tackle here, can they hold out again? It's with Ryan, forward pass. John Connolly was perfectly placed to make that decision. And as soon as the ball left the hands, the whistle blew.
Well, a nice option, using the referee as a foil. It went over the top, but he would have had a great view of that, John Connolly. Oh, that's got to be a penalty. Interference at the play of the ball. You cannot get in the way of the dummy half picking up the football. And you could see that the hooker, Matthew Fuller, just touched it. And a hard game, as the hooker is a strong boy.
17.5 minutes to go, and time for your votes for the man of the match. Number to ring 0891 66 55 25. Tickets to Wembley at stake if you come out of our computer first. 2 winners tonight on this Visa World Club Championship, and the match that is hanging in the balance, and the longer it goes on, the greater the confidence from the Sheffield Eagles. And Perth, I think, are tiring.
And that's why the Eagles have to try a little bit more expansive play.
Great run from Paul Carr.
Try to keep this ball alive. Plenty of passes.
Wood, he goes round 2. What a lovely run from Wood. Looked on his inside, there was nobody there. Lawless is in a dummy half. Another good drive to the 10-metre line from Lawless. It's the last tackle for Sheffield Eagles. What can they conjure up here with Wood again? Now Aston dabs the kick through. That was well watched by Fleming. It was an awkward bounce, but they've caught him in goal. It's a goal line dropout.
Good play there, Marcus Vasilakopoulos. It was a neat chip through, and the substitute, the man who's on loan from Leeds, they went there, the extra strength there by the sub.
5 tackles, he's not been on that long, Marcus Vasilakopoulos. Surplus to requirements at Headingley, it would appear.
And there you could see that
Linton Stott.
Number 14, Chris Deaver for the Perth Reds, put his shoulder into it. He definitely moved into the full-back Linton Stott.
Shuddering tackle then on McAllister by Daylight. Actually, I think it wasn't Daylight, I think it was Matthew Fuller, to be absolutely fair to the Perth hooker, who's had a fine game, the number 9.
Well, it's desperation defence now by the Perth Reds. They really are looking tired, but it's important that the Eagles still keep playing this expansive game.
And here's Linton Stott again. Trying to sidestep his way to the line. Stern defence, last tackle here. Wood hoists the high kick, and Pickney's after this. The ball bounces. Fleming has it. It's got to be a knock on, and it will be a head and feed at the scrum to the Eagles.
No, I think it's a drop out.
Oh, it's a drop out. He's in the in-goal area, of course.
He definitely touched it.
I don't know where the knock on is, Steve.
Well, it's deemed that was a knock on. I thought Greg Fleming actually dragged it back. Either way, the Eagles will not be complaining. Bit of claret on the fullback's forehead. As I say, the Eagles will not complain.
And neither will we. Pinkney's down and receiving treatment on the goal line as Aston traps the dropout, waits for McAllister and gives it him, but that's a great run from their own line, and Robbie Kearns led the way then.
Super tackle, wasn't it? Just lined him up. Crash.
Keith Senior tackled by Rodwell. Lawless. Edmed. Little half break, they're getting over the advantage line.
Yep, and that is important.
Here's the man, Wood, and the other one, Aston. And that was a great piece of play. Wood again takes over. The decoy runner almost fooled the Perth defence. Now Paul Carr. Many times has Paul Carr come up with vital tries for Sheffield. This is a good moment.
Surely,
last tackle.
Surely the kick.
From Aston, sliding it through again. Great pressure on Fleming, and this time he keeps in the field of play.
Good positioning. It was a neat kick from Aston, but full credit to the fullback Fleming. He's had a fine game, not only in defence, but also the way that he's chimed into the attack.
Well, time is just starting to run out a little bit for the Sheffield Eagles. And that's a good kick downfield.
Another good kick by Rodwell, making himself available to make sure that it gets deep. It's the second long kick that is put in. He realises the importance of eating up the time.
Dean
A worried man.
is a worried man, he is.
He knows that some of his charges out there are looking distinctively tired.
That's Jean-Marc Garcia. The problem for the Sheffield Eagles now is that time is starting to ebb away.
Good defence there again. Robbie Kearns leading the way. And
McAllister.
Vasilakopoulos felt that. It really was a bone cruncher.
This is Edmed. Lawless. Vasilakopoulos takes over.
Quick play of the ball, that's what's needed. They've got to try to keep this Perth side going on the back foot.
That's out on the full from Lawless. That's a mistake.
Put under a lot of pressure though. And you'll find it was Rodwell that went for the hooker. The reason why Lawless's kick was not successful. It was on the last, that'll be the turnover.
Yes, it is. And here now is Evans. McAllister's got through a ton of work too in defence for the Eagles. Here's Chapman. He gets the ball away to Diva. Chapman in at dummy half. Now probably the smallest man on the field. Bell, the captain. He's got Tywer all round him, and Senior takes the tackle on the 20-metre line. 3 tackles gone. And the little try here for Perth, and it would be curtains for the Sheffield Eagles. So this is a big attack. Didn't play the ball properly. Kearns caught.
See, Kearns wanted to get on with it. Now, he did touch it with the foot, but you have to regain your feet before you play the ball. You can't do it when you're half crouched, and that's the reason why referee John Connolly has given the Eagles the penalty.
They're creeping ahead on the penalty count, 10-6, but they're behind on the scoreboard, and what's more, that ball was to nobody, and Vasilakopoulos was first to react. Now Martin Wood, Morganson, whose try has given them such hope. Good tackling though, good defence from Perth again. Lawless at the play the ball to Edmed. trying to get the Eagles to the halfway line. And Sheffield now starting to run out of a bit of puff, you get the feeling. McAllister's had a huge game.
Bit of a high shot there from Tim Horan, the centre.
Wood, Aston. Oh, and Carr again puts the ball down. It's in broken play. Kearns has got it back. Still Kearns. Wood puts him down.
The use of the dummy runner, and Carr took his eyes off the football.
That's Evans who
Gotta be a
loses.
penalty.
Yeah, he was stolen.
Wood and Lawless were in attendance, and Lawless thought that he could con the referee, John Connolly, but to no avail. That's how desperate they are to get possession back.
And they're not kicking for goal, the Perth Reds.
They want to just wind down the clock.
Less than 10 minutes to go then. Here's Kearns again, the big prop forward. This is a big effort required now from this tiring Sheffield Eagles defence. Rodwell gets the ball away. Ridding, 10 metres from the line. Chapman to Rodwell, to Wilson. Danger every time Wilson touches the ball, but he's been kept a lot quieter in this second half. Fritz has returned. Neat into passing, and again, this is Ryan. A good job that the tackler was there. And well done again, Danny McAllister. Rodwell halted 5 metres short of the line. It's the last. Great pressure here. Kick to the in goal, looking for the runner Bell, and Taiwo got a fingertip to that and knocked it dead. Goal line dropout.
Good kick. Well, it's pretty difficult to decide between the two, but I think that Feta Taiwo had the longer fingernails on that occasion.
Yeah, I think John Connolly got that right. And to be fair to Connolly, Steve, he's had a good game here.
Handled it well. The big problem now for the Eagles is trying to get this football back, because I'm sure that the tactics now from the Perth side is to just virtually stick it up the jumper, and it wouldn't surprise me if they drive towards the sticks. And at this point, with 71 minutes gone, 72 now, is to go for the 1 point, the drop goal.
Anyone got an idea for man of the match? Ring in now if you have. You could be on the way to Wembley for the first test on November the 1st, Great Britain, Australia. Big date on the calendar, that, in the autumn after this second summer season of Super League. And we're watching here the Visa World Club Championship, and that run from Diva is halted. Perth are looking to turn the screw here in the last 10 minutes of this match. Fritz to Wilson, out wide it goes again. This is Shields. Shields tips the ball back on the inside. The flag's up though, the touch judge has got the flag up. He was forced into touch.
Well, Daylight thought that he'd got the ball back inside before he touched the whitewash, and he's probably right. Pretty tight in that corner, and the winger did so well, Daylight. Releases it before the foot gets there. Well, it's pretty hard for a referee or any official to see what was happening there.
Well, Sheffield Eagles now must surely throw caution to the wind. All right, I know it's points difference maybe at the end of the day.
That's got to be a penalty.
Penalty, it is. Points difference at the end of the day might well decide whether Sheffield may progress in this competition, but...
Damien Chapman, the culprit. Eagles have to get on with it very quickly. See the left arm dragging the football there. And there was another one in attendance. Dale Fritz, the loose forward. And as you say, Eddie, they've got to throw caution to the wind. Whatever basic moves or unusual tactics, they've got to try them.
Lawless to Wood. Wood again, and he gets the ball away to Morganson. Morganson, as he falls, gives it to Carr. Carr then gives it to Aston, who goes up the middle. Support arrives from Stott, and Stott will score! Stott scored under the sticks. Just what Sheffield Eagles wanted. Linton Stott. That was great play from the Eagles. There's the calmest man in Don Valley, John Keir, the Sheffield coach. All the hard work on the training paddock has come off. Stott with the try.
Well, it
His
looked as
50th, by the way.
though they were confused when Wood got the long ball back. He did well to keep this alive. Morganson out wide there, guarded well. Back on the inside to Aston, who's had a fine second half. And Linton Stott plonks the ball down, gives the Eagles more than just a slim chance now. They're fighting the seconds, they're fighting the clock. Beautiful support play. All the experience in the world there by Mark Aston, sends the fullback over.
Aston then with this conversion bang in front, makes sure of 2 more points. And it's so close now. Sheffield 20, Perth 22. John Keir knows that maybe time is against him. But for Linton Stott, that's a golden moment. His 50th try for Sheffield Eagles, for Linton Stott. And it has certainly, with 4.5 minutes left for play, given us the chance of only the 2nd European Super League win in this World Club Championship. Stand by for a big 4 minutes here.
The pressure is on, and it's up the jumper time for the Perth Reds. Make no bones of that. Surely they'll be running from dummy half or just the one pass. There's a run from the dummy half. Chapman scurries away.
Dale Fritz in the blood bin, and the Perth Reds have gone from 22-2 up after 29 minutes to 22-20 up with now 4 minutes left for play. Well, a tense last 4 minutes here.
Surely a deep kick.
Rodwell under pressure. They're all offside, says referee Connolly. Linton Stott claims it. Now, can the Eagles spring from defence to attack? Pinkney. One more try would do it.
The Reds have to be careful not to get offside. They'll try to keep them down in their own half.
Here's Broadbent. How many tackles is that gone? 3 tackles gone. That's 4 tackles. It was on Keith Senior, who plays the ball to Lawless. Here's Aston, who'll pump the kick downfield.
Kick and chase time. He's turned around the fullback, Greg Fleming. It's an excellent kick. Now have they got the legs, the Eagles, to pin him back?
They've caught him. Oh, he's lost the ball! Chances here! Pinkney try!
You can't believe it!
The kick downfield from Mark Aston. Well, it looked a nothing kick. He got out of jail, though, did the fullback, and then dropped it. And Pinkney comes up with a priceless try for the Sheffield Eagles.
Well,
what a mistake.
I don't know about a nothing kick. I thought it was a superb effort from Mark Aston. What a kick from that man there, Mark Aston. It was the last throw of the dice, surely. There they are, camped in their own quarter. He made sure it went over the back of Greg Fleming, the fullback. He did everything right. Held the ball, made sure it went back into the field of play. And the tackle there by Marcus Vasilakopoulos. It comes up. Well, the substitutions by John Keir has certainly turned this game around for the Eagles. Vasilakopoulos reefed the ball out one-on-one. That makes it okay. He didn't lose it, according to that. Greg Fleming. It was reefed out there, and thankfully and luckily for the Eagles, Martin Wood had lifted the hand away from the man carrying the football, Greg Fleming. Well, what a sensational end to this game.
A look of quiet satisfaction on the face of coach John Keir. And Nick Pinkney's second try could well have won this match for the Eagles. The boot from Aston. He's kicked it. That surely wraps it up now. 26 points to 22. Sheffield Eagles have come up, maybe, let's not count any chickens on this night, because they've still got a minute and a half to go, but maybe they've come up with the most unlikely of wins in this World Club Championship.
Well, we said at
26-22, Steve-O.
Well, we said at half-time, anything can happen in this game of rugby league. But full credit to the coach, John Keir. He brought on the substitutes at the right moment, and haven't they lifted them?
Well, that's a great run out from Kearns. He ran straight over the top of Vasilakopoulos. Well, if John Keir wants to cross a finger or two, you would excuse him, and they're coming down this touchline. And it's now with Ryan, and a great tackle from Vasilakopoulos again.
Well, it was his tackle that reefed the ball. Ryan had nowhere to go. And the man that's on loan from Leeds, Marcus Vasilakopoulos. What a time to come up with two important pieces of tactical football. One, reefing the ball away. Secondly, the cover tackle. It was like the charge of the Light Brigade when Ryan got the football out on the left.
Late changes, and now just 25 seconds to go, and Mark Aston in no hurry to put the ball in that scrum. Surely they'll just take the tackles now. And John Keir, by the way, will be joining us after this match in the studio.
Well, he doesn't smile all that often, but I think he might on this one. It's been a great effort, especially from this man here as well, John Lawless.
5 seconds to go. They're counting down to the second victory for the Europeans in the World Club Championship, and there it is! Sheffield Eagles and John Keir have come up with the most incredible result. Well done, Mark Aston. Well done, Sheffield Eagles. Well done, Vasilakopoulos. Well done, John Keir. Tremendous scenes of excitement at Don Valley, and no wonder. Even the Eagle is getting involved now. Oh, he can't believe it. And quite frankly, there are a lot of people who would have been watching this and seeing them go 22-2 down who also couldn't believe it. The emotion on the face of Mark Aston, and the emotion also for John Keir. Mark Aston then is ready to talk to us, I think. And let's have a word with him now. He's with Bill.
He's man of the match. Mark, what a performance from the Eagles in the second half.
Yeah. As you can see, we've got a bit of a team spirit going here, and we knew what we had to do to these Australians. The first half didn't go to our way, but we stuck in there. We're a team, and watch out onto Mariners.
But really, Mark, I mean, you've upset the form book here.
Yeah, I mean, we've been disappointed in the league, but you know, we know this was a good chance to put things right. This will give us confidence. Just sit up and watch in the Super League. We're coming.
Did you think you were going to close that gap?
Yeah, we know we were going to be physical, but in the first half we were dropping too many silly balls. Just, you know, they were hitting us hard and we were spilling the ball. But in the second half we started controlling, putting the kicks on what we wanted to do in the first half, and then they couldn't handle us.
I bet you couldn't believe it though when that ball popped up there for the deciding try from your kick.
Thank you, God. If somebody was looking down on us up there, I'd just like to thank him. I'd like to thank the spectators, all the boys. You know, we've prepared hard for this, and we're just going to get...
Mark, I tell you what, Mark, you've restored some pride for the European Super League after the battering the game has taken from the Aussies and the Kiwis.
I mean, fair dues to Australian teams. They're a great set, but we've just put a bit of, you know, a bit of spirit back in England, and hopefully now people get behind us, get behind the English, and stop bagging us, and we can do things.
You've done it tonight. Thanks, Mark. Congratulations. You're man of the match as well.
Thank you. Sensation.
Well, they have enjoyed this moment, haven't they? And look at the reaction from Mark Aston. He picks his coach up and almost puts him on the floor. Well, John Keir's got the biggest smile in Sheffield. He's going to be with us after the break, but let's have a word with him now, instantly with Bill.
John, lift off.
It's unbelievable, this. It's first class. We've worked very, very hard these 2 weeks. We always fancied our chances on the quiet. They thought we're coming here to sort of make the numbers up, but I think my boys have done the Eagles very, very proud, but most importantly themselves. It's a great day.
To come back from a first half when you bombed a couple of chances and then they took control of the game, and that was some spirit, some commitment from your side, wasn't it?
That's right, yeah, we really has won. We've worked very, very hard to create a unity, and I think you've seen there in the second half, we didn't panic, it was just patient, we just kept going for 80 minutes, and without the Australians, so we're dead chuffed.
Well, what have you done tonight that other European Super League sides, Wigan apart, haven't been able to do?
I think we've just had to look after the football, play it out for sets of 6 and defend like Trojans. We worked so hard on defence in these past 2 weeks, and I think it's been there for all to see. Our first up defence was first class. They had plenty of opportunity in our red zone, but we stuck at it. We worked hard, and when we got our chances, we took them. So it's unbelievable, Bill. Marvellous.
Sweet night for you, John. Thanks very much indeed.
Cheers. It's a pleasure, Bill. It's a pleasure.
We'll be talking to him a little more right after the break, but these Sheffield Eagles supporters are celebrating a famous win for the Eagles. Really, a victory that has been plucked almost from the jaws of defeat here. 22-2 down, remember, after 29 minutes. And then John Keir comes up with the half-time team talk to end them all. And at the end of the day, the Nick Pinkney try, with 2 minutes to go, goal by Mark Aston, has given us the 26-22 scoreline that we have got here. Only Wigan and Sheffield have won in the World Club Championship for the European Super League, and Mark Aston will be signing autographs all night. Well, he's one of the nicest guys in the game, is John Keir, and I'm so pleased for him, and I know Steve-O shares those sentiments. And these Sheffield Eagles supporters, they have been long suffering this year, but this is a moment that they will savour for many, many moons to come. There's the golden moment. Sheffield had it won then, I think Pinkney knew it. 26-22. And Sheffield have come up with a win, and only Wigan and Sheffield have won for the Europeans in this competition. Well done, the Eagles. We'll hear from John Keir, the Sheffield coach, right after this break.
They said it couldn't happen.
Iron Mike Tyson!
It shocked the world.
He's out and it's over!
Holyfield took Tyson's throne.
The biggest upset in the fight game, bar none.
Now he wants his title back.
Go right, Tyson.
Be prepared
Showtime!
for the ultimate rematch.
Crowd are on their feet.
Two undisputed legends fighting for one coveted crown. Holyfield, Tyson.
Greatest rematch in boxing history.
Judgment Night 2. Coming soon to Sky Box Office.
Sky subscribers can see Judgment Night 2 exclusively live and a selection of repeat screenings by calling the automated ordering number on 0990 800 800. Book early to receive a discount. Cable viewers, contact your local operator.
Vauxhall are offering free air conditioning as part of a £1,900 saving on the Vectra and Astra Arctics. And 0% finance. Interested?
There's a pot of honey, you see?
Looks like your dad's head.
No, Brazil.
More like Uruguay.
It's Brazil!
That looks like a laughing zebra.
Look, can you see the scary hand?
Where?
Next to the bacon McDouble with cheese with mustard and ketchup.
Hey?
It's summer at McDonald's. Treat yourself to a tasty new bacon McDouble with cheese, only £1.39. Enjoy!
What?
Remember how Cheltenham and Gloucester mortgages are so streamlined? With no valuation fees, no mortgage indemnity premiums, and there's no need to buy your insurance from us. All we do ask is that you pick up a cash gift of up to £7,500. It's what makes C&G mortgages so rewarding. Call us now for all the details on 0800 333 900. Or sail into any branch of C&G or Lloyds Bank. Cheltenham and Gloucester, run to make you richer.
Something rather French is happening in California. Supervised by one of France's most experienced winemakers, grapes from the Napa Valley are being fermented and aged in the bottle in the Méthode Traditionnelle, resulting in a world-class sparkling wine, of which California and France can be truly proud. Cuvée Napa, Californian sparkling wine with a French accent.
Hey, Futurescope, how was it?
Futurescope, destination sensation.
Kellogg's Sustain is the only cereal specifically designed for sportsmen like Henman. Serve after serve after serve. And that winning blend of light flakes, juicy raisins, almonds, and apple does help keep you going every morning. Go the distance with Kellogg's Sustain.
Well, cometh the hour and cometh the men. Sheffield Eagles have done us so proud tonight. 26 points to 22. They've beaten the Perth Reds. Nick Pinkney with 2 tries, Morganson, Stott. Your man of the match, Mark Aston, kicked 5 goals. Nick Pinkney was the man who scored what will go down forever as I'm sure his golden moment, the last try that won the match. There's the man himself. He's talking with Bill.
We're in a jubilant Sheffield Eagles dressing room. Nick Pinkney, scorer of the winning try. Could you believe it when that ball popped up for you?
No, I just looked down, the ball was at my feet, I just picked it up and I went to the line. It was pretty unbelievable.
And could you believe it that you'd come back from that deficit and snatched victory?
You know, we just kept plugging away, doing the things right that we had to do, and kept picking up the points, which is something we needed to do in the second half.
What do you think you did different tonight to the other European sides who've come unstuck against these Australian Super League sides?
We got a few points behind us in the first half, but we just kept plugging away in the second half and just did the basics right, which we need to do against the Aussies to win the games.
Sweet victory though, Nick.
Sweet, very sweet for us. We was dead burn at one stage there, and we really plugged back, and it's great credit to us, great character, and we got the win.
And do you think you've restored a bit of pride for the European Super League?
I hope so. That was our big goal as well. I suppose that was a bit of fire in our bellies to get the European sides on the board, and we've done that, and we're proud of our sons, I think. Yeah.
Congratulations, Nick. Well done.
Cheers.
Here to that, just to confirm the man of the match, and there's the voting the way it went. Your view, Aston, Lawless and Wood, they all had big games, didn't they? Aston, though, won it with 32% of the vote. We have heard from Mark Aston. We say congratulations to him. But here's the man who's going to get the freedom of Sheffield tonight. In fact, the freedom of Europe. He can be president if he likes. John, congratulations.
Thank you very much, Eddie. It was, I feel rather good, I must admit. It's rather pleasing. Yeah.
Well, you deserve every accolade that you will no doubt get over the next 24 hours or so. But at 22-2, honestly, hand on heart, with all the mistakes you were making, did you think this moment was possible?
Well, we've practiced a lot of defence for the past 2 weeks, and I think they were giving them the ball for a bit more practice initially. But once we got that score back, went in at half-time 14-0, and 14 points in today's game, really, it's nothing. It can turn around quite easily. So all we decided to do was just be patient, look after the football a bit better, keep the first up defence going, and just play a set of 6, another set of 6, and hopefully we'll just plug back. And we're patient, just carried on through, and the result came good for us at the end.
Steve, we don't want to make him blush, but he's one of the nicest fellas in the game, and I know that we're absolutely thrilled for him, aren't we?
Oh, of course we are, and I'm sure that all the fans out there are wanting to wish him all the best. But it was a great effort, and I think I don't want to embarrass him even more, but the fact that he brought on those substitutes at the right time, because in the first 20 minutes they just weren't working, because they were spilling up the ball far too often. They weren't going through their complement of 6, and he knew what he had to say to them at half time. But I think that the fact when they brought Johnny Lawless on, the entire game just changed. His runs from dummy half, especially in the second half, he did 7 or 8, and that means that they have to start working hard. Their second markers have to work hard. So therefore, when the game gets into the last 10 minutes, they are very, very tired. And it was a bit of tiredness that came about, but full credit to Marcus Vasilakopoulos. That was a wonderful effort. It was a great kick from Aston. They turned the full back around. He didn't lose it, didn't Greg Fleming. It was reefed out by the substitute, and then it comes up with a wonderful tackle on Ryan with only seconds remaining. Tremendous effort, and as Mark Aston said after the game, good teams tactics, that they got it all together. They wanted to go as a team, and it was great to see that they were working for each other, and they were patient, and they shut down the men in the second half. Scott Wilson absolutely crucified him in the first 40. Rodwell and Wilson were just taking complete charge. You never saw them in the second half, and that wasn't just a coincidence. It was because they got their defence right.
And I'm sure that that's exactly what John was saying to them. By the way, we'll tell you in a moment who's won the Man of the Match viewers competition in a couple of minutes' time, but we want to keep this going with John, because this has got to be, John, that I would think, I know you've been through the mill with the academy and you've been all over the world and coached, but this has got to be the finest moment for you.
Yeah, it's one of them. It's I mean, I enjoyed '86 at Wembley with Castleford, and I enjoyed beating the Junior Kiwis in '93. But yeah, it ranks up there. It's a pretty special day, and it's a rather nice feeling, Eddie.
And the thing is, you know, if you stay on this sort of form, and who knows, no matter what you do to Hunter Mariners now, but you could be in the playoff now if you go well in Australia.
Yeah, well, all we'll do is it's the old cliche, one game at a time. But it was just pleasing today that these new lads, Steve has mentioned Marcus Vasilakopoulos. I thought Ricky Wright did a job also. In fact, all our substitutions paid off, and Willie Morganson, who started the game, he had a fine game also. So we worked hard on being as a unit. It was a 17-man effort, and every one of those lads deserved the accolades. I'm very, very proud of them indeed.
How significant is it that of all the coaches in Super League, it's 2 Englishmen, you and Eric Hughes, who've come up with the priceless victories?
Well, yeah, the coaches have something to do with it, but let's not take anything away from the players, Eddie. I mean, the players really do it. Once they step over the whitewash, it's up to them. You can just sort of advise them at half-time and do the substitutions, but it's up to the players. And without a shadow of a doubt, they really played with their hearts and their heads, and they deserve all the accolades tonight. And I think we'll have a drink or two and paint the town blue and red.
I'm sure you will. And the old cliche, Steve-O, coaches lose the matches, it's the players that win them, isn't it?
Well, it always will be. It's that sort of situation. But let's not get carried away with the old situation. Okay.
Oh, hey, look, we've been on the back foot for so long. Let's get carried away.
It's a great win in the situation, but it just shows that if you really do get into the face of the opposition and you use your brains, you don't lose the plot halfway through it. And they didn't. They never gave up.
Well, we now can speak to another of the heroes for Sheffield, and John Keir plucked this fellow from Headingley, Marcus Vasilakopoulos. I bet he's not enjoyed too many more matches like this during his short career. He's now with Bill.
Marcus, when you made that tackle right at the end, you really were taking your life in your hands, weren't you?
Well, yeah, you know, I just chased hard after the kick. We knew we was chasing hard all game, so I thought I'd chase hard, you know, and I didn't feel anyone else around me, so I thought I'd have a go at taking the ball, and thankfully it paid off.
It sure did, but there was still one tackle after that, wasn't it? Because they, just for a moment, looked as though they were going to come back at you.
Yeah, you know, they looked as though they'd come back, they'd get some good hands there on the right-hand side, and I think it was Chris Ryan who made a good break down the side. I just chased as hard as I could, and thankfully I made the tackle and put him into touch.
Well, you're on loan here from Leeds. I bet you can't believe this, can you?
No, I can't believe it, really can't, you know. Johnny Keir rang me up and he says, do you fancy coming down for a month? I said, yes, fine. You know, I didn't think he'd put me in straight away, but thankfully did. And hopefully I can get a contract here at Sheffield.
Well, did you fancy your chances going into this game? I mean, everybody else had been blown apart from Wigan.
Yeah, well, all week, you know, we've trained hard, we've been focusing on this game. There's been a great atmosphere in the camp, you know, and we was quietly confident that we could beat the Australians, you know. We wanted to build them up all week, you know, see how good they was and that. But at the end of the day, we was quietly confident.
What about Sheffield Eagles' chances then of reaching the latter stages of the competition?
Well, we said this week, we said one win we think will take us to the quarter-finals or the semi-finals or whatever. So yeah, I think we've got a good chance now.
Well, you really have surprised people tonight. It must be a fantastic feeling in that dressing room.
Yeah, it's unbelievable. You know, I've got a few beers in there now, and maybe we'll take that into the rest of the night, I think.
You deserve it. Thanks very much indeed.
Thanks, bye.
I'm sure that will be the first of many beers tonight, and they deserve it, the Sheffield Eagles lads. And Marcus Vasilakopoulos, he came up with the tackle on the full-back that released the ball to give Pinckney his try, and then the tackle on the touchline here that forced the winger into touch. Fantastic stuff. Steve-O, let's take a look at some of the great moments.
Well,
and let's go mad. Come on, we've had a European win.
Why not? 4 tries by a European side, and the first one came in the first half. It was beautiful play by Woods, who had a fine game at loose forward for the Eagles. The build-up there, Aston, okay, he kept the ball alive, but what great soccer skills by the loose forward, Martin Wood. And he was just onside. He did well, did Nick Pinckney. There was only inches in it. And the video replay showed that he was just onside. It was a crucial try to score. And now the 3 that they scored in the second half. And what wonderful play by this fella, Johnny Lawless. He had a tremendous game. Came on midway through the first half. And Morganson, and inches before it hits the whitewash. But again, the video replay being positive for the English side. It really was a great effort by Morganson, but full credit to Lawless.
John, how did you feel when that one was called okay by the video ref? Because, I mean, 2 years ago, that would never have been given on the naked eye.
No, I mean, it just shows the advances made in technology, and it shows that our game's open to new ideas, and I hope we keep doing that. We need to be innovative in every way, both on the playing field and off the playing field, and that's obviously a plus point for Sky Games, the fact that we've got the video referee, and it's something I think that perhaps we ought to take to all games. Not necessarily the big screen, but someone sat in the stand who can just